Good to see you, sir. How are you?
Good to be here. Good
You
to
know,
be here.
the word icon gets tossed around a lot, especially in
What's
this.
that?
The word icon gets
Oh
tossed
yeah,
around a
right,
lot in
right,
this
right.
town, especially.
Legend and icon.
Yeah.
It mean to me it means you're old.
Well, it means more than that, don't you think?
Well, man,
Yeah.
I'll take it if you insist. But to me, it means you're old.
Well, it's a treat to have you here, and it's a
Good to be
treat
here.
to sit back there and talk to you and get to know you after enjoying your music for so long. I, you're here with a new book, and that alone must be an interesting process. Did you find it alarming, invigorating, distressing?
But invigorating. I had to go back and recall a lot of things that I probably had put out of my mind. I didn't even know they were in there still. But once you get going, you realize that it ain't necessarily true that if you remember the 60s, you weren't there.
Right. You just got to dig around a
You
little.
just got to dig around a little bit. It's in there somewhere.
Your career is a backbeat of American music. What are some of the figures, some of the people that you've come across who were just spooky good?
Oh, wow. I'm going to start off with my main man, Sly Stone.
Sly Stone.
He wrote songs that sound like he was talking to you personally.
Yeah.
It was so universal. It just sounded like it was a personal message to you. Every word, it was like, and he's still like that.
Yeah.
Even not being on the scene, making a lot of music. He's on the album that come with this book. I did an album called First You Gotta Shake the Gate that go along with the book. The title of the book is the first single off the album. Brothers B.O. like George, ain't that funky kind of hard on you? Okay. Sly's on about 5 songs on there.
Mm-hmm.
And it's spooky, like you say,
Yeah.
for somebody who's not doing it out in the public all the time.
Sure.
To just sit down and do that and come up with the things he come up with.
Well, one of the things about Sly, before you go on, is like if the Stones made you feel good about the person that you are, like if the Stones made you feel good about yourself, Sly's music made you feel good about the person sitting next to you.
He made you feel like there's a hope for all of us. Everybody's a star.
Yeah.
He had that kind of, he picked words out of the air that nobody would pick up.
Mm-hmm.
When he's talking to you, you can't hardly understand what he's saying. But as you look around, you realize,
It's true.
oh, wow. He was as big as day, what he's saying. He talks about the environment, over your head almost, but it's really simple. And when you stop looking for something deep, it'll be right there in your face. And you'll be almost embarrassed,
Sure.
that he meant something. It sounds like he ain't saying nothing.
Yeah.
But it's just his way of, almost like the way they do on the computer nowadays. When they text those, I can't understand those words.
It's
But
just as well.
he talked like that,
Yeah.
shorter than a shortcut.
It's interesting. I interviewed him once, and he did the entire interview through a vocoder.
That's him. On this record,
It's awesome.
vocoder nowadays is T-Pain and all the new, it's brand new, but he's been doing it ever since the 60s. He was doing it through a toilet paper roll.
Yeah.
And play along with it with the keyboards, and it sounded like something technically altered.
Mm-hmm.
It was real simple. Nowadays he do it with the real vocoder, but he still might use the toilet paper
Maybe they should.
because it's funkier.
Who are some of the other spooky good?
Eminem is like that.
Marshall.
And I've been watching him since he's about 14, around Detroit, and watching him do all this stuff. But you don't just keep being able to do that many puns and rhymes over and over and over again and be that perfect.
Mm-hmm.
He can. He sat down and he works that hard. Rakim is another one. They work that hard to make sure they breathing and their words fit the little bit of space they got and it don't sound like they took a breath.
Mm-hmm.
They work hard at that. That to me is spooky when it works the way they make it work.
It's fascinating.
There's a lot of people out here that write good songs. Smokey Robinson is my favorite songwriter.
He's smooth.
Smooth, right. Oh, you got me wanting to write songs. But there's somebody for every era that's like that. Public Enemy, they used to get me with the way they could take samples and make a whole track out of it, not a loop, but 4, 5, 6 samples interacting with each other, and actually make an arrangement with a hook. You know, Flavor singing the hook and Chuck doing the verses. That's, to me, is not your average just a sample of loop and start talking over it. They arranged it. Sure. Matter of fact, they arranged what we call noise. They said, bring on the noise. Yeah. They intended to be noise, but it was organized noise. Jimi Hendrix did the same thing with feedback.
Sure.
Ordinarily, you would have called it noise, but his noise would take you to church, or you could make love to it.
Or go to outer space.
You can go to outer space. I mean, he played feedback to the point that it was beautiful.
Yeah.
You know, you can learn to appreciate, you know, if the person deliver it right. Yeah. You can learn to appreciate nothing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? With art, they make a dot on a piece of art paper, and it's art.
Yeah, it's a start at least.
The person know how to present it with the right groove. So there's a lot of people that made me feel like, wow, I don't feel like I've done nothing. When you find a person, an artist that makes you feel like, damn, I ain't wrote shit. I better start all over again. I love when that happened to me because that inspired me to go back to the drawing table because I ain't finished. Mm-hmm. You know, I ain't gonna be finished.
Not everybody would react that way. A lot of people would find that as a wear and tear.
That's when you get old. Whenever I see a new kid on the block that makes me feel like, damn, you're getting on my nerve, that's the music I want.
Yeah.
Because that means if it's getting on your nerve, that's what he mean. Kids mean to get on your nerve. They don't like their big brothers and sisters' music. Definitely don't like their mothers and fathers' music. So they're going to do something to get on your nerve. Same way we did. When I was growing up, I heard bop, bama, doo, mama, the bop, bam, boom, tutti, frutti. My mother said, what the hell is that? What is this? and you know, thought about it for a minute, but it didn't get 10 years later, we were singing, whoa, hey, whoa. Everybody, what y'all saying? It's the groove, but what are you saying? 10 years later, here comes Spit the Beat. Again, what are they saying? But if you don't learn to listen to what they're saying, that means you out of here.
Right.
As soon as I hear musicians say, that ain't music, or parents saying, that ain't music, that's the music I want.
Yeah.
Because that's going to be your next music. You can bet on it.
Yeah.
Kids love to do what you hate. They don't want you to like it.
Sure.
So we ended up being a part of the hip-hop generation because funk is the DNA for hip-hop. Mm-hmm. I made myself available when I found they were sampling our music. I put out an album called Sample Some of Disc, Sample Some of That.
Yeah.
I put out a record, so here it is. You can chop it, sample, copy, dupe it, and loop it to stupid. You know, I'm down with you.
Sure.
And that way you actually get a few more years of hangability.
If there was a hip hop Hall of Fame, it could start with just the folks that sampled you. I mean, because
get James Brown in there. Get James Brown in there. We make a run for it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because they sample his guitar, drums. But you know what I'm saying? They sample every inch of his records.
Yeah. And backwards.
They ain't leave none of it. That's why we called what we did P-Funk. Mm-hmm. I mean, pure funk. Uncut. Ain't been stepped on.
Ain't been stepped on.
Everybody know that kind of talk.
Yeah, yeah.
Pure funk. That's what we did because we had part of James Brown Band with us.
Sure.
We had Fred Wesley, Maceo Parker, Bootsy. We had some James Brown. We had some Motown. Eddie Hazel was out. Jimi Hendrix.
Yeah. It's like Murderers Row.
Oh, we had it all. We had 5, 6 bands at one time.
Yeah.
Horny Horns. We had them surrounded.
Not everybody has a spaceship.
No.
I have to say.
No. You have to know Neil Bogart to get a spaceship.
Neil Bogart, Casablanca Records.
Casablanca Records. He was a promotion man that understood hype. We had the stage taken care of. We can put on a show, but still ain't nothing like hype.
Yeah, an event, a happening.
You know, happening. Something. They call it trending and all that.
Yeah.
We had a spaceship. We could do it on the spot. We land the mothership at the Forum.
Hashtag mothership.
Hashtag mothership. And we out of here to Oakland. Do a live record. And everybody know what happened after that.
Yeah.
You know, it's about a spaceship. Everybody else bought a car in the band. I said, get me a spaceship. Mm-hmm. I'll be still traveling when y'all re-up your car.
Were things like comics important to you? I'm a big comics fan, and I see a lot of imagery.
Well, you have to have a sense of humor to be in this business anyway. So all the people around me, the people that drew the album covers, they helped me explain what I'm talking about, like Pedro Bell.
Sure.
He is funny. He'd come up under that Crump and Zap comic books.
Oh, yeah.
And all of that era. You know, for stoners who was out here, he drew pictures for that. So he knew when I was saying P-Funk, make my funk the P-Funk, he knew how to put that in cartoon form.
Yeah.
That will tickle the hell out of you. And you can read it forever. You can sit on, read a Funkadelic album cover for 10 years. You know, right? I mean, I know people take it, read the corners, the other corner, turn it upside. He drew like that, he wrote like that for you to have to do that. You've been in funny positions looking at P-Funk covers.
Oh, you have no idea.
And you know what I'm talking about,
Yeah,
right?
clearly.
I mean, you don't just go to the bathroom and read a little bit. You'll be there forever if you try to read the whole thing. It's good bathroom reading.
I have nothing to say about that. How do you define funk?
Anything it need to be to save your life. Funk is do the best you can, then funk it.
Just do the best you can, what?
Then funk it.
Just funk it.
Funk it, you know. Just do the best you can, leave it in music, simplicity. You know, like blues guys walk in, what key is this in? They ain't got to know the arrangement. They're just gonna jam with you.
Yeah.
And it's gonna be funky. You say, what key is it? Monkey.
Yeah.
Sit monkey. They don't care what key. They'll figure it out, and then next thing you know, you got a jam going on. That's funk in its basic sense of the music. Now you can get now my life, anything nasty like that.
Yeah.
That make you want to go home and do something. You know, that's your funk music. If you in somewhere a funk record come on, you don't want to dance, your butt is gonna betray you.
Right.
Because one cheek is gonna move.
The hips don't lie.
Involuntarily. Then the other one.
Repeat.
I mean, and that's it. You cannot you ain't got nothing to do with it. You know what I'm saying? When that funk hits you, you know, you might jump up and holler, but you try to be cool, you're in trouble.
Yeah.
You know, you said that.
That looks like a spasm.
That's like twerking sitting down.
That doesn't work.
Oh, don't worry. You know, but that funk will do that. You know, it's like gospel music. That's funky. You go to church, they have a good excuse. When they jump up and start shouting, that's that funk getting to them. It's the same principle. In the, you know, it feels good, it's overwhelming, but it's you don't care what you look like. Because you do be looking crazy when you get out there and start getting anything that feels good to you. You look kind of crazy doing it.
It's true.
You don't believe you take a picture of yourself making love.
No.
That is not cute. It's not. You know?
Do you have your phone? Is that what you... No, don't do that.
No.
As far as the fans, for you, I mean, the music has always been the great journey for you, but the people you've met and the fans and the reaction from the fans, what's that been like for you?
Funkadelic is a people's group. If you notice at our shows, almost at the end of every show, the whole audience, as many as can possibly get on stage, will be on stage. Yeah. Usually when we're doing Atomic Dog, everybody's up there with us. It's always been that way. We used to have to worry about the mics getting stolen because, you know, we invited it, but at the same time, it was a pain, you know, but we still do it to this day. The fans are like part of the group. I have to walk out on the stage to figure out what the lineup is going to be. I can't tell what the lineup is till I get out in the audience and see who's out there. And I can pretty much count, you know, there's so many of them. So, okay, we're going to do this type of show. We're going to do that type of show. Oh, this is who's here tonight. Oh, we're going to do that. You know, I have to figure out where we at, what time of night it is, you know, holiday, or what town. It may be in a town with a lot of rock stars. In town. You know, you go to San Francisco, you got a lot of musicians in there checking your chops out. Sure. So we'll put up the guitar player or the keyboard and let them just go to work. And forget all about any structure of songs. It's just some solos and the band gonna get down. Yeah. And then other places, they'll only want to hear, if it's an old school R&B crowd, they want to hear Knee Deep, Flashlight, One Nation, and they don't want to hear no rap, nothing else.
Yeah.
They don't. You get in trouble. You come here playing some rock and roll or some rap. I have to know that before I get out there. You know, it might be too loud for this crowd, too soft for that crowd. So I do pretty good on judging the crowd.
What happens if you're off?
I can get back on real quick. You know, this ain't working. Then there's some things just gonna work regardless of who it is.
Sure.
You know, I can resort to theatrics. I know how to do that one. If they ain't paying attention to what we're doing, then you have to get their attention some other kind of way. And once you get their attention, they're pretty easy to satisfy everybody. You know?
If you had a stack of vinyl or CDs of all the music you've done, and you wanted to drop the needle on one track to explain what your passion is or what your pursuits are, if you wanted to pick one song to play, one track, what would it be?
Just for you? Or
No, to represent your work.
or represent my...
Yeah.
I could drop Knee Deep on,
Yeah.
or Maggot Brain.
Yeah. Just curious.
You know, people might not understand Maggot Brain because it's out that direction. But Knee Deep is a universally arranged, got all of the melodics and the melody structure. I mean, overwhelming with structure because it's 15 minutes long, and it never repeats the same thing. You know, so those. But then Atomic Dogs.
It's pretty
I mean,
good. If you don't like it, I don't trust you.
I mean, I don't know. Any given moment, I could pick another one.
That's great. And then we were talking backstage about your ring. Tell me about that.
Oh, yeah, we was playing Australia, probably 2001. The Prince of Bali gave me the ring. It's a medicine ring. He gave me the ring. 2 months later, he was killed in a coup.
Maybe you should not.
I know. I thought about that. Maybe I should have. Maybe I shouldn't took the ring. But that really happened, and it was really worse than that. It's like $40,000 when he gave it to me.
Whoa.
On stage, you know, clowning, carrying on. The stone came out.
Where was that?
I never found it. I don't know where. But I wore
look.
I wore it for about 3-4 years without anything in it. Just recently, my wife took it and had a stone put in. So now, I was just so upset with myself for losing it.
Yeah, that's rough.
That's part of my reason for cleaning up too.
You were talking about Bogart and Casablanca, Neil Bogart, and hype. You seem to have always had a really good savvy for what it takes to be theatrical, what it takes to take it to another level and connect with people.
Definitely, and like you say, Neil Bogart was a promotion man. He understood the business of hype. He took us, Kiss, and Donna, 3 different directions. And all of us was doing whatever we did to the max. Yeah. And he had our back. I asked for a spaceship, he got it. Kiss and them asked for whatever they asked for, they got it. Donna took disco, which was brand new at that time.
Yeah.
And she's a rock star now.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't like to think of disco as being all of that. But where Donna took it, she's a rock star. And you can bet disco will be coming back any day. May call it something else. They usually come back with a different name.
Sure.
You most like electronic music or whatever. But all it means is dancing. I mean, shaking your butt.
Right.
And that's what disco was. That's what funk is. That's what rock and roll basically is.
Sure.
You know, but she did it and Neil backed all of us. The Village People is another one. They had their concept and this theatrics, and I understood it from the 50s, you know, all the way back, Frankie Lyman.
Screaming Jay Hawkins.
Screaming Jay Hawkins. I had the casket too. We used to do Maggot Brain, I used to come out of the casket. Yeah, no, I know how to bite off people too. Oh, no, the theatrics is like that. And like we did, we just took it all and mashed it together. Like I said, Motown, psychedelia, disco, rock and roll, everything. It's all music to me.
Well, it's like Duke Ellington said, there's 2 types of music, good and bad.
Yeah, and I don't even know no bad music. Because kids love what you might want to call bad music.
Oh, yeah.
They looking for something you don't like, and they going to give it to you if you can be out of tune. I mean, when hip-hop first started, everybody was tone deaf. It was just about rhyming to a beat.
Sure.
Then they started getting melodic. Now it's almost jazz.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
You know,
it's true.
it all started basic where kids can like it. And as the kids grow older, they get a little more sophisticated. And then the younger kids, nah, that's too cool for me. Let me take it back to,
Yeah,
and, you know, do it like kids do it.
sure.
All music, you do it over and over again. It's gonna do it again. I mean, right now with the Drakes, and your first instinct is, what is he saying? And then all of a sudden, I like that.
Sure.
You know, you just have to be open to it and know that you're getting old if you leave it not liking it. Because the kids liking it, they love the fact that you don't.
Right, they enjoy it. It's
They enjoy
subversive.
it because this is theirs now.
Yeah,
But I think you ain't gonna get off that easy. I have my great grandkids telling me what's happening on YouTube. Turn me on. And matter of fact, I did a record with Kendrick Lamar just recently, and they were like, Granddude. They call me Granddude. Granddude, you with Kendrick Lamar? Do you know who he is? No, I mean, I know he's hot right now. What up? What up? No, he's this, he's that. I mean, bitch, don't kill my vibe. Is all that? Yeah, he's all. And then when I paid attention, he is all of that. And when he talks like he's my age. He done did his homework. He studied. He know what he's doing. He said his parents was in the funk and all the way to Duke Ellington and all of that. He know what he's doing. And every once in a while you find a young kid that not only just like you because you're icon or legend, but actually done went inside the album and listen at more than the singles. They don't listen at the album cuts.
sure.
That's when you know they paid attention.
Yeah, they don't have a choice. It kind of takes them over.
When you look at it, you get too close to the funk. That's why we call it dope. You hear them say, man, that's dope music.
Sure.
We said that first. Make my funk to P-Funk, we were saying dope. And when hip-hop came along, they took that and it worked. You can't get too close to funk without getting the habit. And when you get a habit, you have to have it.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? And that's what with the record companies and the people that steal it. They have to have it, so they steal it from us.
Which brings us to a point. This book is not just about the past and the present and accounting for all the years. There's some advocacy in this. You have a point to make about what's going on right now.
Copyright issue is all on everybody's mind now. Like I said, since 1978 to 2013 is the first time we've had to be able to recapture our music. You know, anybody that made a record from 78 on, 35 years you can get it back. In case you made a bad deal or somebody stole it, or you took a little bit no money, or you wasn't paying attention on drugs or whatever, you can get it back. So right now, we're fighting hard for ours because they don't want to give it back. All the samples that's out there, and there's lots of them, hundreds of millions, we never got any of that money. Now, they took it from Dre, they took it from Snoop, Ice Cube, and all those people. But they split it up amongst themselves. And this is the record business, the record companies. I'm going to the Supreme Court right now over One Nation. My own lawyer stole it from me on behalf of all of this. But I'm going to keep from going all night about that. I'm going to tell you, 379, page 379. Read that. It would give you the entire history of what we're fighting for. Not only for me and my family and my heirs, but all the artists now and the ones in the future. We're fighting to make sure that the copyright at the U.S. Copyright Office is more policed because they have no idea that people are coming in and changing people's names. And they don't know what to do about it. They don't have no laws for anything they can do about it. So I'm on my way to Supreme Court trying to get One Nation in knee deep, which I call the holy grail of the funk, back from my own lawyer who's trying to take it on behalf of all the record companies that sample this music, and they don't want it to get out. That I'm screaming for it. I want my money now. I ain't on dope now. I'm clean. I want my money now. Okay?
Yeah,
that was
absolutely.
cool. Look, that was cool when I was out there. You know, that's my fault. So you got that money. But now it's coming up to be for the copyrights for my heirs. I ain't going down not fighting. So that's what that's why I wrote the book. This is a court document from the Swedish embassy. The lady that did it, she was the one that actually did all the dirty work. But whatever it is, they fell out with each other. So now she's snitching on him. And I'm glad for her. I don't care what she did. She got to change her heart. I don't care if she found God or whatever. She's on my side now.
Yeah.
Because she's telling what she did on behalf of this dude that was illegal. Mm-hmm. And that's what that whole chapter, and she told it to the U.S. Embassy in Switzerland. Mm-hmm. You know, so that'll give you a full idea. And what we can do is see what's going on in the copyright, in BMI, and all the places that's controlling the copyright monies. Mm-hmm. See how, like they said, it's underworld type stuff.
Sure.
You know, it's crime,
yeah.
Fraud. It's RICO when all the record companies are involved together in it, and that's exactly what's happening because they had to go on the table with each other to hide those samples. Mm-hmm. We're easy to work. We can easily work that out, but they done did it so long. Now they don't want to get that back. You're talking about hundreds of millions,
yeah.
And you got 30 people now screaming for their rights, and it's going to show up because the book. They didn't get a chance to see it before because crooked lawyers, crooked judges, mm-hmm. all of that was in play. I got one judge to file it, so it's on court records. It's public knowledge now. Mm-hmm. I'm going to make it more public. It's on page 379.
That's great. Going back to the beginning, what did music mean to you? What's your first memory of music? What's your first memory of what music meant to you?
Louis Jordan.
Yeah.
I used to see my mother, get down,
Sure.
It's 20, 21 or whatever. I can remember getting ready to go party. It was always Louis Jordan. And then right after that, we moved to Jersey, and it was the, good night, sweetheart, well, it's time to go. Doo-wop.
Sure.
I fell in love with all of that. Then Frankie Lyman popped up. Mm-hmm. Why Do Fools Fall in Love?
Yeah.
That knocked all of us out. Every school had a couple of groups in it. I'm talking grade school. And on the corners at night under the street light, you hear everybody, woo, shoo-be-doo, all night long. That was it from 56 to 59. Then all of a sudden, here comes Smokey Robinson, Shop Around, and Way Over There. Mm-hmm. Next thing, he bring in Temptations and Mary Wells, Marvelettes, and Motown went crazy. I could read the records and see Joe Bet, and I knew that was a Motown record. Yeah. So everybody on Motown was my hero. And I used to write songs and send them to him, trying to write to Smokey, want to look at the songs. Took a while. But we finally got through. And
when was that, like 64?
66.
66.
I Just Want to Testify. But your love is love. That was our first hit, and the next one was I Betcha, and Jackson 5 did it. The Supremes did I'm Into Something I Can't Shake It Loose. Mm-hmm. So we had a foot in the doorway. Once I got a foot in the doorway, it's just about what can I do to be on my own. And Motown was kind of peaking out at the time because the Beatles and the English groups started coming over. So Motown started they moved out to California. They was going to become movies, Lady Sing the Blues and all that. That left us in Detroit to take the slack up. We went off into Funkadelic. That's when we did the Maggot Brain, Free Your Mind, Your Ass Will Follow. Yeah. We went totally crazy trying to make our mark. And I wanted to do it in a way that I would never have to be in a bag after that. Which I didn't want to have to try to come up with another single. I went so far out on Free Your Mind that we was out there on our own terms. Mm-hmm. We weren't trying to make a hit single. We were trying to do albums like the English groups was doing.
Yeah, concepts.
It was about albums and concepts. Took a minute. Free Your Mind let them know we were here. Maggot Brain let them know we really was here. And then we did that all the way till we got to Up for the Downstroke. Yeah. That's when Bootsy came along, so we had some James Brown in it. That was the beginning of the new type dance music. Then we did one called Chocolate City.
Mm-hmm, sure.
We knew we had a thing going there because we had Bernie Worrell and Bootsy together. got jazzy funk, and I'm talking shit. That was the new thing.
Sure.
Nobody pictured, a black president. Well, we got that now. You know what I'm saying?
There we go.
Yeah.
Sure.
We did Chocolate City, One Nation, and Paint the White House Black. We meant that until it happened, and that's here. So that was our whole thing, and Mothership, and all that stuff came behind it.
Sure.
And my thing was just liking everything that comes out. I like any record that's a hit. That's one thing Barry told you. If it works, there's something in there that's working. Figure out that part. Don't figure out the part you don't like. Figure out the part that's working. If a song called "If Your Chewing Gum Loses Flavor on the Bedpost of the Night."
Yeah.
If it's working, something in there that's working. So you had to figure that out as opposed to I don't like it and leave it at that. We got enough of that with the way we treated James Brown. We thought because he wasn't singing lyrics and have a whole lot of lyrics that he wasn't worthy.
Right.
When it came time for people to sample something, you saw who they sampled. They sampled his because his could stand a 10. His could be cut not only one time, you can cut his 10 times.
Right.
In other words, you can step on it 10 times. You may not know what that means.
Yeah. No, we do. I think everybody knows. Do you think that in a way that part of that's, do you think that music critics they're writers, so they care a lot about words and jazz and funk didn't get really the credit it deserved because of
but especially James, because like I said, his was mostly, good God, his power was in his tone. He said more with those, hey, jump back, kiss myself. What? Whatever he was conveying something, because we bought those records over and over and over. And when it came time for people to sample them, they didn't want all those deep lyrics. They wanted just, because matter of fact, his attention span is getting shorter. So they basically don't want no whole lot of babble. You know
syllables.
What I'm saying? Syllables and, conversation. They don't want that. So songs are not necessarily what you say or what you're talking about, but all of the sounds that you emit. I mean, the sonicness of it. I mean, because some of the things that work, you don't know why it's working.
Right.
But it worked.
Yeah, it's a little vague.
It's very vague, but you can't put no label on it because the kid's gonna make it even vaguer if you think you got it.
Sure. That's what makes it magic, right?
Right, always.
This book, there's a lot of drugs and sex, so everybody, I know you'll be interested in that. What did you learn about working with other people? What did you learn about collaboration through the years? What was maybe the tough lessons there, and then also just living the life?
Pretty easy to work with almost anybody, because I figured out one thing real early. Crazy is a prerequisite. In music and rock and roll, crazy, you need to be crazy. But one thing, you can design your crazy.
Right.
Just be crazy, but make sure you're in charge of it. You created yourself. Know you created.
Yeah.
That way you can stop it. That way you can stop when you feel like it. But if you're crazy and don't know it, you're going to spend your time trying to defend the fact that you don't think you're crazy.
Yeah.
And everything you're doing is nuts.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? So I learned that to get past anybody that's crazy, I ain't got to sleep with you, but I'm not going to let you get out of here. If you got that good music in you, you ain't going to get away from me. I ain't got to worry. I ain't worried about all your crazy. I just want the music. And as long as I ain't got to deal with sleeping with you and being there and all that, I ain't got no problem with it. Somebody else may have to deal with that. I don't have that problem. Pretty much can work with anybody. Matter of fact, I used to be the bridge between people in the band who couldn't play with each other. And they grew up together. But I would be in the middle, Bootsy and Junie. Both of them genius.
Yeah.
But they went to school together, but they can't work together. They both from Dayton, Cincinnati, 30 miles apart. They couldn't play with each other by themselves. I'll be the carrier. Give me your part, and I take it over to him. Get him to do his part, and I bring it back, and I mix it. I learned that that's your biggest enemy, not being able to work with people. That's a cheap excuse. He's crazy. What that got to do with nothing?
Yeah.
He's also great
Right.
on that part right there, and that's all I want. I ain't got nothing to do with the crazy, and I can be really vague about not paying that any attention.
Sure.
I can almost don't you know he crazy? Can't you see? I ain't looking. Don't show me. I ain't trying to see that.
Yeah, tune it out.
You know, in that I've been able to work with some of the people that they say were crazy. I mean, I had one group, the Delves, and they didn't even want to be around me working with one of the guys in the band, you know, because he drank a little bit, and he was pretty hard to work with. So I told them to leave, just me and him stay there. I told him, you dub yourself in, and now you figure it out. When you like it, let me know. Mm-hmm. That's new to him. He waiting on me to tell him don't do this, so he can tell me he gonna do it. You think that's cool? You like that? So he waiting on me to tell him. I said, I'm waiting on you to tell me.
Right.
And do you think you think I should do it again? Yeah, maybe if you did, you know, since you're asking me.
Yeah.
Maybe you try that. And the next day they was like, how did you, because they was laughing. George's going to get his ass kicked tonight. You know, but then next, how did you get him to do all of that? He did it.
Yeah.
You know, just he don't need to be in front of y'all.
Right.
Let me telling them what to do.
Feed the crazy.
Yeah, you feed the crazy. Mm-hmm. You know. I mean, I worked with the Chili Peppers. Anthony didn't want Flea to hear him singing.
Oh, really?
No, he was a rapper. I have him singing, if you want me to stay, I'll be able. Now that song, I don't even know. I can't even sing that. But teaching him to sing it, I learned it myself. I took him out in the woods on the boat, fishing early every morning. And he can sing loud as he wanted in the woods. Nobody gonna hear him. He ain't got to worry about Flea trying to, you know, tell him whatever he was worried about. But we practiced every day until we got it done. It was like, wow, you got Anthony to sing like that? Anybody can sing once they get relaxed and confident that they can do it. Once you turn on that I'm a show off button, then it's turned down for what? You know, and we had a ball doing their album.
You were key in bringing back Dre and Cube, right?
Yeah, well, and they were doing, you know, they was getting back together anyway.
Yeah.
They was getting back, but Cube, they was doing One Nation. He called it Bop Gun. I thought he wanted to sample that. I said, wow, man, I hate Bop Gun to be used, you know, when y'all still fighting, you know.
Yeah.
Funk ain't really that kind of, you know, I couldn't tell him what to do, you know. But he said, man, no, it's not like that. He said, you know, we tight, we getting ready to go back, we getting ready to work together. Mm-hmm. So we did Bop Gun, you know, One Nation Under the Groove, and I did You Can't See Me for Tupac. And that was all the same time. Dre just put me in the studio and just had me go over about 10 tracks. I'm thinking, y'all crazy. There wasn't no songs. I'm just babbling off the top of my head, every little thing that come out. I didn't know then that they only need a couple of words. They only need a couple of lines. They can loop it and do what they do very creatively. Sure. And I had to learn that. Wow, did I say all of that? It didn't make that much sense to me when I said it. But when they moved shit around, it started making, wow, I'm a genius for real. You know, I had to go back and learn myself, do myself the same way.
Yeah.
I started sampling my own songs.
You're constantly learning, right?
You're always learning. I mean, you don't know nothing as time goes on. You realize what you know is so old now, you might as well realize you don't know nothing. Get it out of your way. Because otherwise you're going to be trying to show them what ain't even happening no more.
Yeah, just own it.
Just, you know, that's cool. I did that. That was nice. Now, let me see what else I can learn. Because they doing something different with, I know it's mine, but I didn't do it like that.
Yeah.
I want to know what you're doing with it. Mm-hmm. I'm going to learn what you're doing with it. I didn't know I started it, but you're doing it now. Yeah. So I want to know what you're doing. So I'm going to learn all the time. There ain't nothing, you ain't never too old to learn.
We can take when people disagree with us. We can take when people attack us sometimes. But one of the things that's hardest, I think, is when we feel misunderstood. Did you ever have a time that...
I don't give a fuck. I meant to
yeah?
be. I went... I practiced being misunderstood.
That's true.
I mean, I went out of my way to do stuff that,
what the hell is that?
What did he do that for? Why would he do? I mean, I did that on One Nation. There was an album called The Promental Shit Backwash Psychosis Enema Squad. The Doo-Doo Chasers.
Totally.
The band in the tidy bowl of your mind. Bringing your music to get your shit together by. Yeah. You know, we talked about shit I went through the whole record.
Yeah.
After a perfect album, the A&R guy asked me, Why'd you do that? I mean, the song that I did it over was a beautiful love song at that.
Yeah.
Beautiful song. And I come in with, well, I ain't trying to get no Grammy. You know, I got to put some shit on this record. And I did it just that literal. I literally tried to say shit in every conceivable way. Corporate Light is a prehistoric dinosaur turd. That's a corporate light. I tried to say prune juice of the mind, you know, everything we could do relating to that. We did the entire song like that, you know, just to be misunderstood.
Yeah, a musical movement.
Yeah, a musical bowel movement. A musical bowel movement. That's what it was. Oh, you know your funk.
Yeah, exactly.
I thought I got that one by here.
What about tell us about 1964. Pick a year. You were saying 64 backstage was a big year for you.
64 was just getting to Detroit, just doing the test. I want to testify. In the summer, I Can't Shake It Loose for the Supremes. I bet you the Jackson 5 did.
Just all those things coming together.
Yeah, it was all beginning to come together. And then Testify, I was imitating Mick Jagger, you know, but it's actually Bob Dylan. Mick Jagger was copying Bob Dylan.
Yeah.
Four Tops, everybody was doing that. Friend, inquisitive friend, I'm asking you why, come over me. You know, real atonal.
Yeah.
That was the sound. So I said, I may as well get in on this too. And we did Testify. You know, it didn't come out the way I wanted it because I heard it a little heavier than that, but the engineers would say, no, Judge, you don't want to do that. So they got away with it. It was a hit. So they were right, really, for that. But like I said, the next record, Free Your Mind, Your Ass Will Follow, I got my way. None of them wanted to be their name on the record because I went in there turning knobs up. I got airplanes going through the record. Yeah. They said, why are you doing that to that good music? That was the sound. Psychedelic tripping was, what was that?
Sure.
You know, they didn't put their name on it. But later on, when Maggie Brain started becoming a classic, oh, I did that record.
Right.
I did that record. Oh, you didn't? You left the studio when we was doing it.
Today, what do you consider your biggest challenge now? What, as you think about your life and your work?
Really, to be heard. And basically, that's the internet. Yeah. That's why I put the songs in the book. Mm-hmm. You know, because I ain't thinking about getting on the radio that easy.
Right.
Because that's, you know, ain't many people getting on the radio. Most of the stuff, new stuff, come through YouTube or trending, you know, that kind of way. Yeah. Very few people get on the radio. That's part of a clique right now. If you're lucky, fine. But you have to find new ways of getting out there. So the new challenge to me was, how do I get people to hear 33 songs or any new songs? I said, I know they'll read a book, they'll look at a book. Most of the time you say, if you want to hide anything from something, put it in a book.
Yeah.
not funk.
Yeah.
You know, you can smell funk outside the book. You know, so we put the songs in the book, let them do a little interactive playing with the book. All that is ways to try to be heard. Sure. That's the challenge, trying to be heard, let people know that we got music out there. Yeah. We on the road all the time, so we'll never have a problem with performing. We're going to perform always anyway. But every once in a while, you want to put some music out there.
Sure.
So I put one song out for every year we haven't had a Funkadelic record out.
Nice.
That's 33 years. We had records out, but not a Funkadelic record.
Right.
And that's what this one is. And it's connected to the book. The first song is the same as the title of the book. Brothers be your like George. Ain't that funkin' kind of hard on you?
Nice.
I say I was hard when I started. I'll be hard when I get through.
If you look back at the history of radio, it used to be regional. A DJ would champion somebody, and that's gone.
That's gone. Ain't none of that no more. It's all one big corporation. So you don't get no record breaking out in California, breaking out in Detroit. You don't have your records you can dedicate to your loved one in the morning before you on your way to school or to work. There's no radio like that. It's all oldies of this kind of music or that kind of music. I don't even know where the new records get played at.
Think on TV.
Yeah, YouTube is probably the freshest thing, internet. Yeah. So I'm gonna be down with that if that's what it takes. we're going to find a way to be heard.
Sure.
You know, and we are best ambassadors outside. We go out on the road all the time. So we're going to be performing this music.
Yeah.
At least we got 33 new songs out now.
That's fantastic. All right, we're going to take a couple questions. Anybody out there?
Questions?
George, thank you so much. We can never thank you enough.
Thank you.
Especially for the deep political knowledge that you've laid on us through things like Dope Dogs and recommending Holly Sklar's book Trilateralism in the middle of a rock album. That's rare, dude. And
It's
that's
hard to
like
rhyme.
silly serious, okay? So my question is, how and why do you navigate what you say in your book, childlike, not childish, to convey deep political knowledge?
You don't want to get your ass kicked by talking too loud. Or if you don't want to be on that little black book that, you know, they have when they investigate you and you start talking out loud. And plus, I don't know nothing for sure. I can only say things that, what if this is the way it is? What if it's that way? Could it possibly be this way? I don't want to preach nothing because I don't think I know nothing. I'm just saying, is there some other choices to the things out there? So when I say something like America Eats is Young, that's a concept for a record. But I do know you would not be able to say that today.
Sure.
You know, that's something you could say back then because everybody was protesting the Vietnam War. When that was over with, everything about it was over. Woodstock was the end, far as I'm concerned. That was the mountaintop. We had done it. The war was getting ready to be over. Put that acid away. It's over. Go back and get a job. It took us a little while to learn. It took me the longest. I was the oldest hippie around. You know what I'm saying? But when I finally did look at it, I realized, damn, it's been over since since the 70s.
Sure.
We just didn't know that. I went all that time looking for acid, and I found everything but acid. You know, crack was not acid.
No.
It just took me a long time to figure that out.
What do you think of Frank Zappa? What do you think of Frank Zappa?
Oh, I love Frank Zappa.
Yeah.
Frank Zappa, he was crazy. Now, to be crazy like that is straight. That's scary.
Yeah.
I mean, because he was literally out there, way out there.
Sure.
And he didn't do nothing. When you do something, at least you got an excuse for being crazy. When you don't do nothing, you're straight and you're crazy like that. He was intellectual, but he still was deep.
Right.
And he was crazy too.
But those trickster figures, you mentioned Marshall Mathers, yourself.
Yeah,
Frank
I
Zappa.
understand it was tricky, but just to think of some of those things is a little crazy, even if you are being funny. Just the thought of it is still in your mind. So you got to be dealt with.
Sure, absolutely.
You seem really up to date with a lot of the artists that you have been watching, I guess, on YouTube. So who are the artists that you are following currently?
And everybody, the same ones everybody has. Drake, Kendrick Lamar's, and all of those guys, the new ones that's taking over the hip hop sounds nowadays. And a lot of the little short jokes. My grandkids keep me up on all the little short, stupid, little things they have on YouTube.
A cat jumps on a piano, something like that.
9 plus 10, 21, you stupid.
First of all, George, good to see you, and really good to see you healthy.
Oh,
All right.
thanks.
All right. How did the loss of Eddie Hazel change your scope of music or anything about music?
Eddie Hazel was 15 when I bought him this guitar. His guitar that he was made pretty famous. And I bought him Jimi Hendrix, Are You Experienced, Axis Boulder's Love, about the Cream, Disraeli Gears, and Fresh Cream, Slide, Life. I bought him all those albums at one time and set him down. Took him about a year before Jimi Hendrix is the one he gravitated to. Slide, he learned to sing like Slide, but learned all those artist songs, but Jimmy, he learned that. So just watching him learn how to play that, like that, was deep to me. So when we did Maggot Brain, I knew what he could do. The whole band was playing with him on that record. I took them off because what he was doing was so far from what they were doing as a backup that they got in the way. I faded them out right in the beginning. So Eddie had something special. My mother used to call him Old Crying Eddie. He could take that guitar and woo your girlfriend right off from under your arm. You didn't want him around you with that guitar. If you scored at the gig and on your way to the hotel, you didn't want to pass by Eddie's room.
Pick your pocket.
He plucked that guitar, and you ain't got no girlfriend. So Eddie was special in that sense. Really nice kid, shy as hell, but he used it like a double-edged sword.
Yeah.
Because he was definitely gonna get your woman.
Where we at? Hi.
Yours was the first concert I ever bought a ticket to myself.
You sneaking?
She was sneaking in
No,
before
no,
that.
my dad actually drove us. But I've always been a fan of yours. I can't remember not being a fan of your music. But I have to wonder, I hear artists coming up through the years and they cite you as an influence. And I listen to their music and I hear nothing of you in them. And I always wonder, how do you feel about artists who say you're an influence, but they have nothing of you?
Well, I mean, it don't necessarily mean they have to sound like me to be influenced. I might be just like I have artists that gave me the inspiration to have the nerve to do something. So what they did might necessarily sound like me. I just might have given them the nerve to do what they want to do. And a lot of them cite me as the person that inspired them to do that, what they wanted to do, not that they wanted to do funk just like we did it, because that wouldn't be funky either. You got to funk for your own time, the time you in. So if you get the nerve to do it from us, I can take that as a compliment.
Was there somebody like that for you outside of music that you would point to, maybe an author or a political figure or a spiritual person who they influenced you just through the way they lived?
Dick Gregory.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he was somebody who's a comedian,
Yeah.
but he went into the politics in a real funky way. He told jokes about the political stuff, and that stuff was so serious.
Yeah.
I mean, his stuff was so serious, you always afraid for him. You just somebody coming to get him, the stuff that he would say, back at the same time, Malcolm would say, you could understand Malcolm got a whole nation behind him
Sure.
of followers. So but Dick Greg was a comedian.
Right.
And all of a sudden he flipped on him, and he was saying stuff that not even Malcolm was saying.
Right.
And to this day, they just won't even print what he say, or you don't see him on TV too much. Because they know he going to say something with a joke that's going to be very scary. So you just can't say anything you feel like any kind of way, especially if you're upset about it. You got to figure out a way that you want people to hear you, but you don't want them to cut up your words in the magazine and misquote you.
Sure.
And all that'll take place if you say something they don't want you to say.
Pull the plug.
If you can do it in a joke, if the punchline be caught by the people before they figure out that you done said it.
Right. And they're gone.
And you're gone.
Yeah, you're gone.
You got to figure out ways to do it. You can't just say things.
Sure.
I wanted to say, first of all, I've seen you a couple of times off stage, and you're one of the coolest stars I've ever met off stage. You're approachable and totally no ego.
Thanks, bro.
Thank you for that. My question is, can you talk a little bit about your songwriting process? Like, do you write at the piano or the guitar, or do you just hear it in your head first, or how do you do that?
Well, nowadays, I get a track and write to that. Because most people, they write to what the beats, they call it a beat. We call it arrangements back then. You had to write arrangements. You sit down and write a song with somebody playing the piano, the chords, the bridge, the verses. I still would do that, but I'll get the music first, and I learn to write like that, since that's the way it's provided to you for the most part. I don't have musicians around that actually sit around and jam too much, Because all our musicians is old and got families, so they can't be hanging out. They go to work, they want to get paid for practicing. So that's pretty hard to do. You got to get young enough musicians who don't mind sitting around making up the song to write it like that. We do very little of that. I did some of that on this album because I worked with my grandkids a lot on the album. A lot of them is on there. And they all do music. My son is a guitar player. So we did a lot of songs like that where we did the lyrics and the music together. But for the most part, is give me a beat and I'll do just like the hip hoppers do. I'll make a song to that beat.
Freestyle.
Freestyle.
Yeah. Exactly.
We used to call it ad-lib.
Do you ever have you had your music come back to you in an unexpected way, like a song that you wrote at a certain period in your life, now you hear it and it speaks to you in a way that you didn't anticipate?
Oh, that I didn't even mean when I did it.
Yeah.
I've had songs, yeah, I have songs. So especially the first ones like 61 and 62 I did with my son's mother. Yeah. And it's what they call Northern Soul now over in London. Yeah, they have some music called Northern Soul. And it's usually songs that came out in Detroit area that wasn't hits. Mm-hmm. They come over and bought a whole lot of those songs in like the early 70s. And they took them back to Europe and they've been playing them ever since. The radio over there, and they're like classics. Wow. We go to Manchester and Birmingham, and like this record that I pressed up myself. I didn't press up but 100. But they've been a hit over there. Somebody's pressing them up over there because it's a hit worth like $500 for a single. I'm like, what the? Yes, they come back to, it's the classic now. So songs that I did as demos come back like that now.
Wow.
You know, so yeah, I do get them back.
It's a boomerang, huh?
Yeah.
Just like Ice Cube said, you taught him how to be free and think for himself and everything. You taught us the same thing on the Upper West Side of Manhattan, and I'm sure everyone else. But let me ask you a question about a curiosity I have about the P-Funk catalog. Speaking of England, you worked with a woman named Ruth Copeland on a couple really interesting songs.
Silent Boatman.
Silent Boatman and Oh Lord, Why Lord, and I love those songs. And I've always just been curious, like, A, how you worked with her, and B, where she is, and who is she?
Wow. I just talked to somebody yesterday. She's in Wisconsin. And she's, started working with her. She was the wife of the A&R person at Invictus Records, which was Holland Dozier Holland. Oh. She was Jeffrey Bowen's wife, and she's from Northern England. He told me if I do a record with her, he would sign me up to, to the label at that time. So I did that one with her, and she wrote a couple of songs with me. That was The Silent Boatman and Oh Lord, Why Lord. Oh Lord, Why Lord was actually a record done by Procol Harum. Okay, one of those groups, I'm sure it was Procol Harum. I know it was one of those English groups at the time. And I was very much into King Crimson, Emerson, Lake and Palmer, and all of that. The classical rock and roll. They had classical music being played with a rock band. So that's what Bernie started doing with us. Ruth was instrumental in helping us go in that direction just because she was the wife of the A&R person. And she's a really good songwriter, too. Nice. And the album we did with her was a takeoff of Mary Clayton's type stuff. Remember, Mary Clayton was the big thing happening over in England at the time.
What's the least funky music you ever heard? Andy Williams?
No, Andy Williams.
I'm joking.
No, he was one of the best. Oh man, you could have said almost anybody, but Andy Williams and
Tony Bennett's better.
Tony, well, maybe.
I think so.
But I'm from a doo-wop group, so Andy Williams had the voice.
Moon River too.
Yeah, he had that voice. Matter of fact, we used to sing that.
It's a great song.
Yeah, Andy Williams. But I think Pat Boone.
Yeah. I had the sweater. I knew.
I'm thinking Pat was been all right. He's like, I'll Be Home, which was beautiful. The white bucks got me.
Yeah.
You could not wear white bucks in the 50s. I mean, no, flag flyers and white bucks, that blew it.
That does not fly. That does not fly. Even Andy Williams.
Speaking of clothing, George, can we talk about your fashion and the multicolored wigs? How'd all that start?
I'm colorblind, first of all. No, I'm looking for something to do. You know, we had done it all. I done had my hair cut off. I had stars and moons and dicks and everything cut in my hair. You know what I'm saying? I'd done that since I was a barber. I knew all the craziness to do. Everybody was getting, dreads and locks and everything. I figured I had to do something different. And so I did the colorful dreads.
Bright idea.
The kids told me I looked like my pony.
Oh, that's not good.
You know, and I couldn't see. I'm colorblind, so I still don't know what that means.
Pat Boone has a My Little Pony.
Okay. Well, I hope I wasn't that unfunky.
First of all, I just want to say, growing up in the 70s, high school talent show covered with people walking on stage in nun outfits, dinosaur outfits, girls holding flashlights. It was like, okay, you took over our high school talent show. So I want to know if you are a fan of the DC go-go scene,
Yes.
a big fan of Chuck Brown.
Chuck Brown, Trouble Funk.
And also how you came to work with the drummer extraordinaire, Baltimore native, Dennis Chambers.
All of the people you just mentioned, we worked with prior to even Max Kidd, who used to be the manager of Chuck Brown, Trouble Funk, EU, and all of them. When they first started, we had testified, Chuck Brown at least, it was Soul Searchers. They weren't quite doing go-go yet. It was only when Tiki, our drummer, started playing with them for a minute. Then they started that, that go-go group, and they didn't change for nothing. I don't care who you was, you can have the biggest record in the world. You come to DC, the go-go groups got it.
Yeah.
We always knew that, so when we came there, we knew they had, as a matter of fact, I would sing Atomic Dog with EU. Because if they get up there and do it before you get on stage, you couldn't do it.
Yeah.
And they were good for doing your song before you get there and do it at a go-go beat.
Nice.
So, oh no, we were very much part of that. Trouble Funk and all of, and most of Dennis, Mudbone with Bootsy Rubber Band, Robert Johnson, Peanut with us. We had so many people from Baltimore. They're still in the band. That's like this second place that, the group is from, Baltimore. In Chocolate City, we call it CC in the vanilla suburbs.
Nice. Nice.
All right, 2 more questions.
George, first of all, thank you so much for coming in. 1979, the mothership dropped down on Roanoke, Virginia. And there were brains left on the floor, my friend. That was amazing. I wanted to ask you what it was like for the first time to meet Bootsy Collins. How did that click with you? What were your impressions of him?
Well, a friend of mine, Malia Franklin, who was one of the Parlettes, who was always a good scout for talent, she said, G, you got to see this guy. He's a funkadelic in waiting, and you got to check him and his band out. They had just, left James Brown. And matter of fact, they were funkadelics. We saw them, they had on all their own regalia.
Yeah.
And it looked like us, so that was 70, 71. And I knew immediately that he couldn't be a funkadelic, he had to be his own group. Mm-hmm. So I said, when I heard him play, you help me do Parliament, I'll help you do your band. Mm-hmm. So we did Up for the Downstroke in Chocolate City with us. Sure. And we did Bootsy Stretching Out in a Rubber Band with him. That was the beginning. Nothing been the same ever since, right.
That worked out well. Fantastic.
Right
One
here?
last question. Where are we at? Ladies and gentlemen, George Clinton.